The next email is sent from Allie in Scottsdale. She sends a picture, which I will post on the YouTube video. This is my friend Elizabeth dancing on the beach in Puerto Vallarta. The picture is a little bit blurred, but look to the right of her. You'll see the perfect outline of a man standing with either a kilt or a loincloth on. And indeed, that is creepy looking. Indeed, that is creepy looking. I know I'm not talking a lot because I'm looking at all of the other items that are visible in here, which is the flames. Appears to be marshmallows on the top of sticks. And it looks odd that some are engulfed in flames and some are not. The entire picture is very blurred. There is definitely your friend striking a pose. And then kind of overlapping her seems to be a man standing extraordinarily straight, military-like posture. And when you look to the top, over his head, there seems to be an outline of a larger version of him. He's got kind of a purplish hue. It does look like he's wearing a kilt or something over his waist with maybe a belt or medallion type thing. A big circle near his waist. What's odd to me is that I can't even really understand what's going on above the fire next to your friend. I'm trying to find similarities in blur that is universal. The fact that the picture is not in good quality to begin with makes it really hard to validate anything that we're seeing. The sand in the foreground is actually in focus and is steady and constant, which is something good. It's also interesting to note that there seems to be kind of dark shadows creeping in on the left of the frame and the bottom left of the frame. Let me talk about how cameras work a little bit here, especially in the modern age of digital pictures. Digital cameras do a lot to compensate for user error. When you're taking a picture in low light, the camera digitally will be able to recognize what's bright and what's not, and it will kind of independently adjust its shutter. Historically, a shutter flashes, opens up and closes, and that's when the film gets exposed. And it is what it is. You set your shutter speed, and if it's open too long, the picture's blown out and it's all white. If it opens and closes way too fast, not enough light comes in, and it's very dark or even entirely black. So what's going on in this digital age now is that we see the camera is able to just capture the bright stuff quickly and then kind of smartly realize that the darker stuff should be more exposed, or the shutter should be open for just that portion of the image longer. And because of that, a lot of times the foreground object or the brighter object, wherever that happens to be, looks sharp, but the background looks a little sketchy, looks a little strange, and that's simply because the shutter is open longer and you yourself have moved the camera a bit. That said, that makes sense why the well-lit sand is in focus. I would love to see a picture that you took before or after this. I don't exactly know what's going on with what it does look to be a man standing behind your friend. I'm trying to find similarities in the clothing that he's wearing, mostly just clothing lines. If he had a big V-neck cut, yeah, maybe I do see a little bit of that now that I'm specifically looking for that. As she has she's wearing a dress that is very open in the front and has straps that come up and tie behind the neck. There might be a little hint of that. I don't know what was going on when this picture was taken. If she was standing up very straight like this before jumping into her pose, that could possibly explain it. I'm going to err on the side of ruling this out as evidence. However, I do acknowledge without question that this is a fascinating photo. I would love to see photos taken around this that did come out well, to maybe understand the environment a little bit better, and also how that camera is working within that environment. I do completely see what you see and wonder if what looks like shorts, if that really has more to do with what the background of the image was right there. The thing that looks like a medallion could be very, very easily, it could be an orb, not a paranormal orb, but an orb that came from either the mist from the ocean that is obviously just, 20 feet behind her at the most, or the fire that is 5 feet away from her at most. So that, I would say that's probably what the medallion is. And what looks to be shorts, or the loincloth as you put it, really is probably the bottom of her dress, and it just goes up until the shoreline, which is in the background. That kind of seems to be where the waist would be. I would have to imagine this girl was standing straight up, either immediately before or after you took this picture. Thank you very much for sending it in. It did give me quite the brain teaser as I was trying to come up with a reason for what I was looking at.